Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we're gonna install VSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and Docker and go through some settings of those two. First, let's start with VSL. We have some URLs in here. I'll put all of them in description. And in order to find more about this, I recommend go through these basic commands, but I'm gonna do it so maybe you can follow this tutorial. First command is like to check the status of your VSL. So you can do that by dash the status. Some of you might not have nothing in here because nothing is installed. So in order to see like available distributions, what you can do is like write VSL dash dash list dash dash online, and like this you will see a list of available distributions. There is Ubuntu, Debian, and some others in there. I recommend Debian as it's one of my preferred, but it's up to you to install any version. So let's say we want to install Debian. In order to install Debian, we do VSL dash dash install dash D and distribution name. In my case, Debian. For me, it's saying that it's already installed and it will launch. I don't want to launch yet. So for you, if you don't have VSL at all installed, we'll do install VSL and then install the distribution that you choose. After that, a restart it's might a restart it's possible to be asked. I recommend to do that restart. So let's assume you restarted, you have installed, or um, let's go actually to some other stuff. Let's see you are on VSL1, and although I don't think it's the case, but let's think of that. So if the VSL dash dash status will give you like default version 1, then I recommend to switch to 2. So to do that, you'll do set default version, and that will be 2. And like this, you'll set the default version 2. But what if you have already a distribution installed with version 1? In order to switch the version of your distribution, we'll do VSL dash dash set and then version and then distribution name and then 2. All right. For me, it's saying the distribution is already in the requested version. Okay, so that will be like to switch. I would recommend before you start doing all those commands, if you don't have VSL installed at all, then this is like the best command to start. But if you already have VSL, and I recommend to set the default version to do to 2 and then do a VSL dash dash update. This will bring your VSL up to date and you have like the most recent version. And I think that's all related to VSL and installing the distribution you want. Now, let's assume you started and you have like the distribution installed. After start, if you open terminal again, you will see this Debian in here. So there are like a couple of things. I have installed for Windows 11 terminal, it's as default, but if you are like on Windows 10, you might not have this terminal. So you can install terminal for Windows Store as distributions. So you can like install Debian, for example, like I did here, but you can install through Store as well. So you can like search for terminal, will be Windows Terminal. You click on it and get, and that will be Windows Terminal. As I said, for distribution will be the same. If you like search for Debian, will be like this. If you search for Ubuntu, will be like this. You'll have like get Ubuntu. Okay, once installed, I recommend to run um, some basic commands to like keep your distribution up to date. even if you like have it installed before or it's the first time installed, there are a couple of things that I recommend running that I also recommend to be run from time to time. Uh, to run like commands with that you need to install packages and update packages, those commands need to be with sudo. First time you install a distribution will ask for a username and a password, and password confirmation. You'll have to like type those and remember because they are important. So we're gonna do apt-get in case of Debian, apt for Ubuntu, but yeah, yum for CentOS. There are like a lot of there. So we have apt-get update. Like I said, will ask for password. So this will update all the packages and repos that are available for Debian. And upgrade will upgrade the packages that can be upgraded to latest version. So these two commands I recommend to run from time to time to keep your distribution up to date. Now there are like some more packages that I would recommend installing. And right now we're gonna talk about two of them that we need the most. And we're gonna do this by apt-get install confirm, so not have to confirm again, and that those will be git and OpenSSH client. So install those two if you don't have. I have them already installed, so nothing happened, but for you I assume those will install. So that will be all about distribution, VSL and distribution install. Getting back, getting next will be like Docker. So I have this link posted in the description as well. From here you can download Docker. I have it installed. Um, in here, if you're using like VSL2 backend, you need to install Linux kernel update package as well. This will get to this page where on step 4 you can find that package. I recommend download and install it as well. After you do that, I think after installing Docker, there will be like a restart required as well. So you do restart and then let's start Docker and see the settings. Okay, nice. I searched Docker for for over the internet. Yeah. Okay, so I'm starting Docker. Okay, it's taking some time. There are, like I said, a couple of settings that we need to do. Uh, After each steps, we need to apply and restart. For some of them will take some time. So we want to go like through settings. And in here, starting Docker, it's up to you if you want to start when plugin or not. I don't have that activated. We want to have the VSL2 based engine checked and the Docker Compose v2. The rest is like up to you. On the resources, on the VSL integration, you have to like check the distribution you choose. If you have like multiple distribution, Ubuntu, Debian, you have to check them all if you want to use like Docker with them all, and then apply and start. On the Docker engine, I recommend to put build kit to false. I had some problems in the past, and this was the best thing to resolve them. We want to keep it Docker up to date, and on extensions, we want only extension distributed to the Docker marketplace. Unless maybe you are a professional with Docker and this video might not be for you. And that will be all. After changing in each step things, you'll have to apply and restart. So getting back to resources, there is this advanced things that we want to like limit the resources. To do so, we have to create a VSL config file. For this, it's like this last URL. There are two things that you can do, either like configure settings per distribution or globally. I choose the global side because I like it more. So we'll have to create this config file. So we do go to user profile. Okay, so that will open this. I have it already created. You can like create it as well. I use Notepad++ to edit this file. You can like do what editor you want. So I have 32 gigs of RAM, 8 processors, and as total, I mean, I put for this VSL. Yeah, I can go bigger. So 8 gigs, 2 processors, and 2 gigs of swap. Like this, we are saying we're editing the VSL2 configuration. And pretty much that's it. I mean, I limit the Docker by this to 8 to use max 8 gigs of my total capacity and 2 processors. And I think that's all with the configuration. Like I said, we'll have everything in here. The last thing I want to like show you about Docker, not settings, it's like extensions, right? So on extensions, as you can see, I have installed Portainer. So you search for Portainer in here. I have it already installed. You do install and then you open. Portainer will be one of the best tools to see what's happening to Docker. I mean, obviously, you can do some other commands that will show in a minute. One of them, it's like Docker PS. You see if everything, for me, it's not running anything, but yeah, you can do that. So we have Portainer, and there are like some things in here. Most of them probably you're going to use its containers, images, and volumes. And I think that will be all. If you have like trouble installing this and configuring VSL or Docker, I like looking forward to hear about them in comments. I'll do my best to help you have those installed as needed. That will be all for today's video. See you in the next one. Bye.